How would you feel if streaming platforms like Spotify altered your music for their own gain? There's a theory that these platforms may actually be altering your audio quality through compression, algorithms, and sound adjustments to control what we listen to, keep us hooked, and of course, maximize their profits. So is it all in our heads? Or is there something fishy going on? Let's find out.
Strange frequencies.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Strange Frequencies, where we go deep into all the wild, mysterious, and sometimes unusual stuff in music. My name is Rudy, and today we're going to be talking about something you may not expect: streaming platforms. We all use them, we all love them, and they're very convenient. But some people believe they're doing more than just delivering music to our ears. First, let's break down some basics. You've probably heard about compression when it comes to streaming. But what does it actually mean? Well, compression is the technique used to shrink the size of an audio file. Why? Because smaller files load faster and it takes less bandwidth, which is perfect for streaming. However, this also means that we're not getting the full, rich audio experience that we would if we were listening to a high-quality, uncompressed version. Now, this is where the theory starts. Some people think that streaming platforms are using compression and other adjustments not just for the efficiency, but to actively shape what and how we listen. So, here's the conspiracy. Streaming platforms like Spotify and Apple Music are allegedly using compression, EQ tweaks, and other audio adjustments to control how music sounds, and even influence what we like. Why would they do that? The idea is that by controlling audio quality, they can push us towards certain types of music and keep us listening longer. Really think about it. These platforms make money when you're listening, especially on the free tiers with ads or when they could pitch new playlists or albums. So, some people think that platforms might be lowering the quality of audio on purpose for less popular songs or indie artists, while boosting the sound quality for big, trending songs or major label hits. That way, the more marketable music sounds richer and more engaging, pushing you to listen to that more. Algorithms are another huge part of this theory. Ever notice how after you listen to a song or an album, you get a playlist or a song recommendation that sounds eerily the same? Streaming platforms use algorithms to track what you listen to, how long you listen to it, and what you skip. It's all designed to create a profile of your taste so they can recommend music that'll keep you hooked. But here is where it gets interesting. The theory suggests that these algorithms might also be influencing audio quality. Some believe that platforms could be programming algorithms to adjust the sound quality based on what you're likely to listen to. For example, if they know that you're a fan of a particular genre or an artist, they could prioritize better audio quality for those tracks, making them sound better and keeping you listening longer. Meanwhile, songs outside that profile might be downgraded in quality to keep you from wandering off into genres they haven't approved for you. All right, so is there any evidence to back this up? Well, it's tricky. Most streaming platforms don't openly share what kind of compression or quality adjustments that they're using, and when they do, it's usually really vague. They'll talk about how they optimize for the best user experience, but specifics are rare. Plus, the sound differences can be subtle enough that most listeners won't even notice unless they're listening on a high-quality speaker or headphones. There's definitely evidence that musicians swear they could tell the difference. It is also worth noting that Spotify, for example, has a feature called normalized volume that makes every song play at a similar level. Some say that this normalization can make songs sound duller and less dynamic, which might push listeners toward more mainstream or highly produced music. So, here is the big question. Who stands to gain from this? Well, if you really think about it, the major record labels have a huge stake in streaming platforms. They're often shareholders in these companies, and their artists make up a big portion of what we listen to on streaming apps. It's these platforms that use subtle audio tweaks to make big budget releases sound better than indie or lesser known artists. It would naturally steer listeners toward big names, boosting both the streaming services and the label's profits. But it's not just about the big artists. Platforms also profit by keeping you listening as long as possible, feeding you playlists and songs that are easy listening or don't demand much attention. If slightly lower audio quality keeps you from paying too much attention to what you're hearing, say while you're working or studying, it might actually keep you on the app longer, meaning more ad revenue and a higher likelihood that you're renewing that subscription. So what does this mean for musicians? For indie artists or those who pride themselves in high quality production, this could be pretty disheartening. Imagine pouring hours of work into creating a track that has a rich detail to it, only to have it flattened and compressed into something that sounds like background music on a streaming app. It's like painting a beautiful picture and having someone throw an ugly filter over it. And for the listener, it might mean that we're not truly hearing the full extent of the music. Many of us rely on streaming platforms for almost all of our music, so if they're manipulating the audio quality, we're actually missing out on the real experience that the artist intended. Sure, some people might not even know the difference, and to be honest with you, a lot of people probably don't even care. But for those of us that truly love music, it's a bit like eating junk food instead of having a full meal. Yeah, you're full and you're satisfied, but it's not as good as it could be. So should we actually be worried? It's honestly hard to say. Part of this theory might just be people looking for an explanation as to why their music feels different on streaming apps, but there is a legitimate concern here, especially with how secretive these companies are about their audio processing. With so much of our listening time happening on these platforms, could we be gradually adapting to a sound quality that's lower than we realize? And then there's the question of control. If platforms have the power to influence what we listen to and how we hear it, that's a lot of sway over our music experience. It's not as direct as conspiracy control over your mind, but it's still a form of influence that could shape how we interact with music and what we enjoy, and even what becomes popular. Well, that is it for today's episode of Strange Frequencies. I hope this got you thinking about what might really be happening behind the scenes when you press play. What do you think? Are streaming platforms altering audio quality to control our habits, or is it just part of tech? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And hey, if you like this episode, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you then.
Strange Frequencies.